Hi. It's your judges Eric and
Hannah. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so we're gonna do the judging for this panel, which is themed yellow. I'm gonna do my judging a little bit differently because I'm not a scoring judge right now. I'm not actually gonna talk about, you know, the individual categories, styling, assignment, da 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 da. Right now, I'm just gonna kind of look at you overall and kind of talk about where you are in the competition, and then I'll pass it back to Eric, who can talk a little more about, you know, the specifics, and if there's anything to add, I will do so. Good? Okay. Kema, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna start with Kema. Now, Kema, you're so pretty. You're so pretty. You're such a good model. You're gorgeous, and I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time talking about your positives because we all know what they are, and you know what they are, and I know what they are. If you're not working for money right now, you need to be. If you're not with an agency, you really need to put yourself out with an agency. You're a great model. You remind me a lot of Seth from My Cycle, who is super, super successful right now. He came to Toronto and he's like doing really well. He's with an agency and he's doing like, he's amazing. You could be right there with him. Now, my problem though is the same thing I said last week, which is that I don't think that you're using this competition to push yourself. I think that, you know, this image is great, but at the same time, this image could be, you could do this image whenever.
Asleep.
And you will do this image forever. Like, you will do these beautiful fashion, like, chic hipster sweaters with the look, you know? It's what you're going to be doing. And I think that, like, right now, you need to push yourself on the webcon side of it, which is that, you know, you're going to have a chance to wear this sweater again. Are you ever going to get another chance to, like, go out, buy a bunch of lemons, tape them to your head, cover yourself in yellow glitter, paint your nails in 7 yellow colors, and wear your best yellow shoes with 1 foot up in the air, right? So I think that for that, you're not pushing yourself, you're not challenging yourself, and webcon's almost not that helpful to you right now, right? Like, if this is, you don't need to practice modeling. Like, this is beautiful. What I think you should be using webcon for is to get like some really great, outstanding, different types of images that you're not going to get when you go out and start modeling commercial, which you will do a lot of and make good money.
All right. As for like the specific photo, you have this like really relaxed sort of air of confidence about you, which it's nice to see that again. It's sort of the same facial angle as we've seen a lot of, with the slightly like just off center, like 1/4 profile. I mean, you do it like so naturally, like it doesn't look awkward, but it's like the same one over and over again. So if you can give us like a full profile, or I don't know, razor chin, straight on, something like, he did like the straight on for his candy, his lollipop, but that's like the only time it hasn't been just sort of that like slightly off.
It was still the pouty, smizey look, right?
But like, I really like how natural this looks. Like, you look kind of like you're walking down the street, just sort of like, I don't know the right word, but you're walking down and you're gazing off into the distance, like shielding your eyes ever so carefully from the sun, and like you look
like, where's my limo?
Yeah. Yeah, it's very like it's like a paparazzi kind of snap for some like really fashionable celebrity. And like, I really like that kind of air that you have. I just want to see a little bit different like ways of presenting yourself, because I feel like I've seen this a fair amount from you. But like, as a photo, it's still really good. It's a really high quality image. I like how big it is. There's
Your
only
cheekbones are amazing.
It could have been a little more yellow, because unless like someone said this is for a yellow assignment, I wouldn't have thought yellow. I would have thought more, this is like a Hollywood paparazzi picture.
Anything, right? It goes back to what I said, like, really, really push yourself. Even in terms of like a magazine submission, we run webcon a lot like magazine submissions. You get a theme and then you submit, right? I don't know that a magazine would take this for a yellow submission. It is a little lacking in yellow, I do agree.
I'd want to find somewhere to run this, because it's really great, but I don't know if I could run this in my yellow theme.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a great image.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound mean.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, I swear I had this up. All right, it's Amber.
Amber. Okay, Amber. You know what? Honestly, I think you're doing pretty decently. I think I think that you're a contestant that's steadily improving, which is awesome. That I really enjoy seeing. I think that like when somebody's really, really thinking about what they're doing in webcon, it can really take you from being like, you know, an amateur model to, you know, somebody who's working on like a professional level. And I think your pictures get more and more professional every week. I think you're learning your angles a lot better. I think you've discovered your jawline.
Yes.
Which is awesome. You have a great jawline. I hate my profile. I hate this like part of my chin. So I'm like super jealous of people with nice like profiles. It's, you know, you've been pretty consistent in terms of assignment. You've done them all really well. I do think that you can push your creativity and you're just like yourself a little bit more just to get an image that's like whoa, popping, like this is a great image. And I'm like, oh, lovely summer day, right? And I do think everyone needs to really be pushing their things to like, whoa, popping level. But overall, you're doing really well.
I think that this is a really fun sort of photo. I really like, I'm a sucker for the yellow balloons that you have in particular, because I think that a lot of people would have just settled for like a yellow dress and a yellow hairband and just like, boom. But I think the balloons kind of are a little fun and whimsical, and they kind of, they bring like a little bit of something special, I think, to the photo. I think your like facial angle is really good. I'm kind of losing you in the eyes. I don't know if like, when I was looking over, I thought at first that they were open, but like really like closed, but like still like you were looking. And then I wasn't sure, and I thought maybe that it was just a lot of mascara and they were fully closed and you were having like that inhale moment of like the summer warmth. So your eyes are a little confusing just because I don't know if you're like squinting really hard or if they're just all the way closed, but it kind of like, if they're closed, then I would have liked a little more like relaxed in, a little less tension in your eyebrow, just because it looks a little like you're squinting. But otherwise, like, I like the open mouth inhale. I like the jawline. I think it's a really good angle, which might sound strange for your nose, and your cheekbone. It's not quite as sharp as last week, but it looks normal and natural. Whereas last week
Great
it looked
highlight.
Yeah, the highlight on it is really it's a good. You caught the light on it really well. Your body is a little less outstanding than your face. Just like, it feels a little like you're just kind of standing there, and like you're sort of square to camera. You lost like one of your arms with the crop, and you're not really doing anything with your arm, or you're not like twisting or creating any like angles or.
Even if you brought your shoulder back a little bit, just to get more of a dip in the shoulder section, like instead of over, it would have gone like concave.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could have done a little something different. Like, it's not a bad picture of your body just because you've got like a nice body. It's just, I think you could have done yourself like extra favors and created some illusions. And this is just sort of Amber as she is, not Amber like creating a model image, if that makes any sense.
Just on the eye thing, a really quick, super quick tip for that is that when I get that sometimes too, where I'm like trying to do the sexy, like almost open, and it's just like kind of somewhere in between. Usually really quick on Photoshop, I'll just like darken the whole eye in that little section so it all just looks like eyelashes, and then it looks closed and not like half open. Okay. Not that you look like that face.
Anyway. I think, it's a good shot. I think you're going to be around next week, so don't worry about that. Stefano, next.
Oh, you look different this week. Good. Okay, so clearly you're taking advice. We'd seen a lot of the same angle from you. This is a different angle. This is great. It makes your facial hair look so cool. Mm-hmm. You know what? You're a solid contestant. Yeah, like you've listened to our advice. I mean, you've gotten the same advice a couple weeks in a row, and obviously you've taken it to heart. I think that your assignments are always good. I think that you're somebody who does also rely a little bit on just being a good model, and I think that in terms of webcon, you could push it a little bit more. like, this is the same as Kema's, right? Whereas if I was like submitting to a yellow themed magazine, I wouldn't necessarily know that this was supposed to be a yellow themed thing.
Mm-hmm.
So just making your assignments super, super clear in what they are. Other than that, I think you're solid. I don't have a lot to say for everyone.
Just, I guess, to add on to Hannah's critique, I feel like I would echo that sort of, you've always been good. I think this is your first, like, A image. Like, you've had a lot of B's and B pluses, but I think this is the first time you get into that A category. The only real knock I have against you is, again, that the yellow sweater is a good touch and it does pop, but it's not, I think, enough by itself to be like a yellow themed picture.
If your shirt was yellow and you had like, what do you have on, like a wristband or something? If you had had like a gold watch and a yellow shirt, and even with the editing you could have gone a little, like where everything is white,
a little yellow tinge,
a little more
maybe.
Yellow would have just bumped it up a little bit.
I mean, I'm personally fine with just this image standing by itself. Like, it's a really, I think you're selling everything really, really well, because I don't really think that the sweater is terribly attractive by itself, but the way that you're wearing it is really actually, you're making it look its best, which is, I think, a really important thing to do as a model.
So true.
And, like, just you by yourself, I say this every week, but you have such great model DNA, and I'm so angry at you, in the best way possible. But I really like how relaxed your posture is. You're really bringing like a very calm, cool, collected confidence.
Look how cool my ugly sweater is.
My grandma knit this.
I love it.
But no, it's really like, I think you're doing a good job of creating a candid moment. It doesn't look like, oh, I'm a model on a photo shoot, but it also doesn't look like I'm just going to stand around like, well, someone takes my picture. You're putting effort in presenting yourself, but making it look effortless, which is that really weird line. But I think you're walking it well.
Yeah, I love this image.
So yeah, just a little more yellow, a little more pop, but this is, again, like my favorite image of you in the competition.
I think me too. I think this is by far my favorite image of you in the whole competition. Something about your eyes too. Like, I don't know.
Just sort of casually gazing off into the distance, being all like debonair.
I love it.
Yeah. All right. Next we have Vivian.
Okay, Vivian. Honestly, you're great. You're a good model. You're an excellent model. No knocks on that. Whoever you're working with is amazing. Honestly, your creative team, like, I don't know if these ideas are your ideas. I'm hoping they're at least a little bit your ideas. But who's ever doing the, like, creative control on these shoots is doing a really good job. And, you know, I think that's totally valid. I think that, you know, a huge part of modeling is, you know, connecting, networking, you know, going out and putting yourself out there. And going and making those connections and being like, hey, will you shoot this for free for me? Will you do this? Can we make something work? Can we, you know, set up a system? So I think that it's awesome that you're doing it. And I do think that everyone at this point should really be like pushing their networking to find, you know, people out there who want to do this. And, you know, lots of photographers love to do webcon. This is a good place for their work to get out. This is a good place for them to challenge themselves just as much as it is for a model. So I think that, you know, everyone can really take, you know, a page out of your book and start thinking about, all right, who do I know who does arts? Who might be willing to do this? What can we do? What can we do that's fun, that's creative, and all of that? I think you're doing really, really, really well. I think if you keep your, like, the team you're working with, I think if you guys can keep working together, that you're going to do well. And on top of that, I think that, like, you've shown a portfolio that's incredibly diverse, you know. Every one of your images is different. Every one of your images should be in your actual modeling portfolio. You've shown a wide range of looks and faces and emotions, which I think is really, really important. So I'm really impressed with you. Keep doing you. You're doing good.
Just to sort of carry on that quickly before I go into the specific photo, you've shown so many stylings that you can carry. Like, you've rocked an afro, you've got a braid, you can carry nudity really well, as you showed last week. Like, all of these different ways that you're presenting yourself in your portfolio, you're showing that you aren't just like one look, and that's really like that makes you a real front runner in my eyes. So as long as you sort of don't have any like weeks where you kind of slip up, I think you're going to be like a really tough person to beat. As for like this photo, I really don't have any strong complaints. I have like one little nitpick with your right arm. I wish you could have maybe brought your hand a little lower on your face so that you could have, because the way it is you're creating like that one line and like
your hand is very flat.
For me, it's less the flatness of her hand. It's more like her arm is blocking itself. And so if she had brought it down and created like a little like the V, that would have been...
either way, like up or down.
Yeah. Maybe, I think maybe up makes more sense, and just like that way, like,
as opposed to...
Yeah, anyway, other than that, I really like the little box that you're creating with your arm and your hair. That's like a really nice sort of set of angles. Your torso, you're presenting it a lot better than last week because you're not blocking it. It's sort of, this is how you look, and that's how I want to see you sort of like every week. The paint is a really nice touch. This is definitely a yellow image. Yes. This is, a really, I would have no problems putting this in like a yellow themed editorial.
Yeah. I think it's a good way to look at webcon, honestly, because like as a model, that's what I've been trying to do this summer, is get as many like publications as I can, and it's literally like these are the themes: yellow, two colors, like, you know, whatever it is. And they're like, you know, they're not the most important thing in modeling. I look at them as like gold stars, publications, so I think this is a good kind of practice for that kind of thing.
Yeah. Anyway,
I like your face in it, and I know you're trying so hard. I think your eyes are not matching your mouth, though. Just now that I'm looking at it, I'm not seeing as much emotion. I know your eyes are closed. It's hard because you're trying to get that like anime like whoop of the eyes to go with the smile. So I love your mouth. I don't know. That was a minor point, though. I didn't even think
I'm
of it
fine
right
with your
now.
eyes. Like, I think that, like, if I did a close-up zoom in on your face, I think it wouldn't look cheesy or put on. So, I don't know.
Next.
Yeah. Next up, we have Alfonso. Yeah.
Cute. You look great. You know, overall, you know you're a strong player, too. Your images have been good. The people you've been working with have been good. I have really no complaints for you overall at all. I think you're doing really well. You've got hopefully some really good images for your portfolio that you're proud of. Yay! I don't know. You're solid, right? I think you know what you're doing. I think you've done your assignments very well. I think you've been thoughtful about them. I think you've put the effort in. This might be one of the ones I would say is on your lowest end of actual assignment, sticking to and being creative with and pushing the boundaries of. But up until now, I felt like your assignments have been really, really strong.
I mean, for this photo, as I said in my written critique, just as like a close-up, like your jawline is so... I have no words. It's frustrating to see people who just like can like clench their jaw and just have it like pop like that. So, I hate you. That's what I'm trying to say.
I love you.
Yeah.
No, your jaw is so good.
I'm jealous.
So good.
I'm jealous.
I'm jealous too, though.
From the neck down, that's where I kind of lose you in the photo. It's not really a yellow theme. It's not bad. Like, I like your body positioning. It's strong and confident, but it's a little bit on the basic side because you're not doing anything wrong, but it's not like jumping out at me. And comparing this to all of your other weeks, this is the one that sort of sticks out for the wrong reasons, because like last week, all of the lighting that you did, there was so much effort that you put in, and you could see it. And this week, it's kind of like, oh no, I have to get my submission in by tomorrow.
Which happens. Like, don't get me wrong, it happens. But the thing about being somebody who's strong in this competition and working with good photographers and good stuff is that your slip weeks are so much more noticeable, right?
Yeah.
So,
like, in the album cover, Hugo was saying that, like, this was a week that a lot of people were having real life issues, and they still sort of powered through and got their stuff in. And so, like,
we do just appreciate that.
I'm glad that no one was late this week, and I'm glad that there's still good things about this photo, even though it's not your best, because just as like a close-up beauty shot, you can still use this. It's just maybe not a yellow themed photo.
It's super commercial. The only thing I actually have a problem with is your arm. A little stubby.
Oh, yeah.
You make me think more about, like, arms and limbs and stuff, and I do think that's a little bit of it's not coming down enough.
Yeah, if you, like, flatten, like, think of yourself as being two-dimensional, because you're making, like, a 2D image. So whenever you're, like, putting out limbs to camera, just sort of flatten it out, and you can see it more.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
Yeah, still good stuff. All right, I think we have Jasmine next.
Okay. Jasmine. I'm gonna kind of put this in relation to Kema. So, you know, Kema's got the best features and is working with the best people, and, you know, has all of these things that are really, like, strong for him in terms of, you know, being, like, these natural qualities that are great. And, you know, for me, it's the webcon side that's sort of missing. For you, for me, it's backwards, right? You're putting in some of the best effort. You know, your assignments are on point. You know, you're definitely going out of your way to figure out your angles and all of that. So your webcon side is great. And I think that anytime that somebody's doing a type of modeling that's sort of genre specific, whether that's, you know, plus size modeling or alternative modeling for me, or when somebody's doing something like Kelsey from a couple cycles ago, where she did all of her assignments in pinup genre, that you're naturally at a disadvantage. And I think that, you know, I think you've done really, really well for being in a genre disadvantaged category. And I think you've done really well with webcon. I do think that, like, for you right now, that you really need to start pushing your modeling practice. So if that's, you know, more angle watching, more webcam pictures, more webcam stuff, more, you know, selfies, more pretty much anything you can think of to practice, right now would be good for you. I think that you could step up your modeling just a little bit. But I think you've done really well in webcon. Your assignments, like I said, are usually on point. I think that you could push your assignments a little bit more. So, you know, pretty good. I think if you, practice, and then I think that you need to start getting out of shooting yourself. I'm pretty sure you're shooting yourself, and I think this is the point in the competition, not just for you, but for everybody who's not really working with, you know, somebody who's got at least a little bit of photographic experience. And this is the time to start getting out to your friends and be like, hey, like, I know you shot these really great pictures at so-and-so's birthday. Do you think you can shoot me? Or, you know, I know you're really into photography, or I know you want to start at photography college next semester, or, like, you know what, whatever, right? And really start reaching out to people who can give you the feedback in terms of, like, hey, like, if you just move your chin over like this, you know, you'll get a stronger jawline. Hey, if you put down your shoulder, you know, you're going to get a nicer shape there. And start, you know, getting a little bit more interaction with the modeling side of this.
Okay. For your photo, I've already sort of said what my issues are with it. I do think that in terms of yellow, this is yellow, and I really think that you have some good things going on in here. Your eyes are probably my favorite eyes of you in the competition, because you've done a lot of, like, the sort of closed, sensual look, and this is the first time I sort of see the full pop of, like, the blue. Yeah, I don't really want to, like, bash in, like, the parts that I don't like about it. Just when you're using paint, you have to really be careful with how you're applying it. Just like, I did, like, a paint photo in my cycle where, like, my hand was sort of covered, and a couple people were saying that it looked like I had fisted a Smurf, and I didn't really see it personally, but you have to sort of keep in mind when working with paint just what it could and could not look like. So
I think you just also, like, you always want it to look... It always has to look unintentional, but it has to be intentional, right?
Yeah.
When you unintentionally apply anything like this, it's never going to look... It's not going to necessarily look good. You really want to aim for, like, careful application while maintaining the illusion of messiness or...
Like, with jeans, like, how they're, like, ripped and torn, you have to do it sort of so that they look unintentionally torn, but still...
Cost $900.
Yeah. Like, if you... I don't know. It just... It can look a little messy when you do it messily. Yeah. So maybe just a little more thought into, like, the application of it.
You know, I love your eyes, but I don't like them in this photo just because they're so blue and they're so the first thing you see, which is 99% of the time the best thing you want. For me, it just throws off the yellow theme.
Oh, I'm brought in by the eyes, and that's... I disagree where I like the blueness of them and how it kind of counteracts the rest of it. Just because I don't really like the yellow bits, and so having the blue there is like, it's a saving grace for me.
They look like oceans.
They're so blue.
Yeah, you have really pretty eyes.
Yeah.
Go. Okay, sorry, we cut Brooke off. Well, we didn't cut Brooke off, the phone cut Brooke off, whatever. Okay, so like I was saying, you know, you're really solid. This is going to be a crappy version of this. You're solid. All your assignments have been, you know, fairly well done. They've been on point. I think that you know, pushed, like, really thought about the creative levels of it. Oh, I said so much, though. I think that you're getting to the point where I'm seeing more of a model and less of a pretty girl, which I think is really good. I think every week you become, you know, you're thinking about what can I do with my body, what can I do with my face that's not just, you know, staring straight. I was comparing you to Stefano because I was saying that for me, I would have liked this picture particularly looked away. I think that you need to start, like, you know, doing a little more of the casual kind of modeling as opposed to the straight to camera modeling. I think I just said you're more or less solid. Oh, and that you're at the point where I think that you should be looking for more creative people to be working with as well. I think that you should be going out and looking for any photographers or anybody who's willing to shoot you right now. Like I said before, people love to do webcon. You know, all you have to say is, like, I'm shooting this thing. You're gonna get, you know, quite a bit of, you know, publicity, and
it's good practice.
It's good practice, you know. And it's the same, like, photographers like it because it is like submitting to a magazine, which is gold star for a photographer too. So I just think that you need to push yourself a little bit more with other people and getting outside your comfort zone. But I do think that you have solidly improved, and improving in webcon I think is one of the most important things because I think that's what it's useful for.
Yeah.
To become a better model. That's mostly what I said.
Yeah. I'll give you my Sparks Notes version. I agree sort of with that Stefano comparison, like the female version of him. Like, you have, like, the look. I think your photos have been very consistently solid. I haven't really gotten, like, that A+ from you yet. I think you could, but like Hannah was saying, I think you need a better sort of creative element to your photos. Just because right now you're very kind of safe in that you do the assignments, but there isn't quite that same wow factor that we get from some of the other contestants. So just really, like, try and push yourself even more. Like, I like the ball gown. I think you look great in it. Your body looks great. I like the curve. I like the Barbie toe that you're doing with that leg. But I think that if you had gone out to, if there's like a hotel in the area, you could have gone to the hotel and, like, gone up a staircase and looked like a fashionable, like, celebrity diva person in yellow. And that would have, like, I think that would have done more favors for the image than sort of the country background, which Hannah might or might not agree with, but
as we've already shot this and he knows. What I said was that I thought I liked this image and where it is because it gave me this kind of feeling of, like, you know, like, we're going camping, but I'ma still look, you know, glamorous, like glamping.
Yeah.
So I like that, and I like that you did sort of, again, with this week, what you did last week was take a theme that, like, you know, we would think would be shot in a certain way, and you kind of turned it on its head. Where you know, everyone did shadows as sort of darker. You had this much more light kind of feeling to yours, and you know, yellow. Everyone else did sunny and bright and all of this, and blue. Everyone did yellow and blue combos. And yours is the one that is, you know, it's dark, it's evening, it's got a much different feeling than everybody else's, and I really like that.
You went dark and moody with yellow and light and bright with shadows.
Right? That's cool. I think that those kind of things are really, those are interesting, and those are the types of things you can play with the assignment where you're not jeopardizing the actual assignment portion. So, overall good. Good. Okay, we also lost our ending, which was saying bye, and that everyone was a lot more etiquetous this week.
They were courteous, polite, well behaved.